So I found a copy of this book at my local library. And the neat thing with it is it's a replacement copy. I know they used to have a different copy, and I'm not sure what happened to that copy, but they replaced it. And part of the reason I know is it actually says up here, soon to be a major motion picture. And it also gives a hint that one of the characters in this story, his name's Bob, and he's this little dog. He gets his own story, and it's called The One and Only Bob. This story is called The One and Only Ivan, and it's written by Katherine Applegate. Very briefly, I needed to share that when I was a kid, I discovered Katherine Applegate in a series that she wrote called The Animorphs. And I know that she wrote some of it. I'm assuming some of it was ghostwritten just because of how many books came out and how fast, though maybe she wrote them all. But it's been in the last, 5 years, 10 years that she's been coming out with some stories that are very different from The Animorphs, which was kind of a sci-fi story about kids getting the ability to morph into animals. This story, The One and Only Ivan, it's in my top 100. I decided I can't have a top 10. I have too many books that I really love. This is definitely in my top list, though. It's a story about Ivan who is in a mall. He's a gorilla and he's in a mall, and people can see him when they go shopping there. And it's kind of neat because the author discovered there really was an Ivan, a gorilla that really did live in a mall for, I think, like 30 years. And it was the children who saw him, grew up seeing him in the mall, that when they became adults, they really helped generate the movement to free him. Now, this story is made up. She used some of the real facts about Ivan in here, but this story is the idea that what if Ivan saved himself? And why would he do that after being there for so long and it being his normal? What had to have changed for him to want to save himself or to get out of his situation? So this book, the chapters are incredibly brief. And there's definitely a rhythm to the story because it's in Ivan's voice. Ivan is the one telling the story. And there is a glossary to explain some of the things that go on in the story. And here's the first chapter. It's called Hello. I am Ivan. I am a gorilla. It's not as easy as it looks. And there's a picture of him. The next chapter. I am going to read a couple pages into this story. I really want to spark your curiosity. This is totally a book worth sitting down and reading, no matter how old or young you are. And it makes a great read aloud as well. Names. People call me the freeway gorilla, the ape at exit 8, the one and only Ivan, mighty silverback. The names are mine, but they're not me. I am Ivan. Just Ivan, only Ivan. Humans waste words. They toss them like banana peels and leave them to rot. Everyone knows that peels are the best part. I suppose you think gorillas can't understand you. Of course, you also probably think we can't walk upright. Try knuckle walking for an hour. You tell me which way is more fun. Patience. I've learned to understand human words over the years, but understanding human speech is not the same as understanding humans. Humans speak too much. They chatter like chimps, crowding the world with their noise, even when they have nothing to say. It took me some time to recognize all those human sounds, to weave words into things, but I was patient. Patient is a useful way to be when you are an ape. Gorillas are as patient as stones. Humans, not so much. How I look. I used to be a wild gorilla, and I still look the part. I have a gorilla's shy gaze, a gorilla's sly smile. I wear a snowy saddle of fur, the uniform of a silverback. When the sun warms my back, I cast a gorilla's majestic shadow. In my size, humans see a test of themselves. They hear fighting words on the wind when I'm when all I'm thinking is how the late day sun reminds me of a ripe nectarine. I'm mightier than any human, 400 pounds of pure power. My body looks made for battle. My arms, outstretched, span taller than the tallest human. My family tree spreads wide as well. I am a great ape, and you are a great ape, and so are chimpanzees and orangutans and bonobos, all of us distant and distrustful cousins. I know this is troubling. I too find it hard to believe that there is a connection across time and space linking me to a race of ill-mannered clowns. Chimps, there's no excuse for them. I think I'm going to read this next chapter and then I'll end there. I'm hoping this is a good taste of Ivan's words and how he speaks and how he shares his story. This chapter is called The Exit 8 Big Top Mall and Video Arcade. I live in a human habitat called the Exit 8 Big Top Mall and Video Arcade. We are conveniently located off I-95 with shows at 2, 4, and 7, 365 days a year. Mac says that when he answers the trilling telephone. Mac works here at the mall. He's the boss. I work here too. I am the gorilla. At the Big Top Mall, a creaky music carousel spins all day, and monkeys and parrots live among the merchants. In the middle of the mall is a ring with benches where humans can sit on their rumps while they eat soft pretzels. The floor is covered with sawdust made of dead trees. My domain is at one end of the ring. I live here because I am too much gorilla and not enough human. Stella's domain is next to mine. Stella is an elephant. She and Bob, who is a dog, are my dearest friends. At present, I do not have any gorilla friends. My domain is made of thick glass and rusty metal and rough cement. Stella's domain is made of metal bars. The sun bear's domain is wood. The parrot's is wire mesh. 3 of my walls are glass. One of them is cracked, and a small piece about the size of my hand is missing from the bottom corner. I made the hole with a baseball bat Matt gave me for my 6th birthday. After that, he took the bat away, but he let me keep the baseball that came with it. A jungle scene is painted on one of my domain walls. It has a waterfall without water, and flowers without scent, and trees without roots. I didn't paint it, but I enjoy the way the shapes flow across my wall, even if it isn't much of a jungle. I am lucky my domain has 3 windowed walls. I can see the whole mall and a bit of the world beyond. The frantic pinball machines, the pink pillows of cotton candy, the vast and treeless parking lot. Beyond the lot is a freeway where cars stampede without end. A giant sign at its edge beckons them to stop and rest like gazelles at a watering hole. The sign is faded, the colors bleeding, but I know what it says. Mac read the words aloud one day. Come to the Exit 8 Big Top Mall and Video Arcade, home of the one and only Ivan Mighty Silverback. Sadly, I cannot read, although I wish I could. Reading stories would make a fine way to fill my empty hours. Once, however, I was able to enjoy a book left in my domain by one of my keepers. It tasted like termite. The freeway billboard has a drawing of Mac in his clown clothes and Stella on her hind legs and an angry animal with fierce eyes and unkept hair. That animal is supposed to be me, but the artist made a mistake. I am never angry. Stella, Mac, and Ivan. I like the hint of how he said that. Once, however, I was able to enjoy a book left in my domain by one of my keepers. It tasted like termite, which means he ate the book. Oh, there's a little more to this chapter. Anger is precious. A silverback uses anger to maintain order and warn his troop of danger. When my father beat his chest, it was to say, beware, listen, I am in charge. I am angry to protect you because that is what I was born to do. Here in my domain, there is no one to protect, which is a very good foreshadowing of what's to come in the story. But I'm going to end here because each chapter just flows into the next with Ivan's words. It's so good. Oh my goodness, this book is so good. I know I haven't shared much other than the fact that it's so good and a little bit about the author, Katherine Applegate, but this book is amazing. It did win the Newbery Medal for being the best book written the year it was written, and it definitely earned this seal. It's an amazing story. I hope that you guys take the time to read it. Happy reading!